The prefrontal cortex regain control from the amygdala,
Nice.
the part of your brain that reacts out of fear or instinct. This is why, in moments of crisis, you whisper, "It's okay," even if you don't fully believe it. The body responds to the sound of your own reassurance. It also strengthens memory. When you speak something out loud, you anchor it more deeply in your mind.
For real?
Your voice becomes a marker, a place of return, like carving a small symbol into the wood of your life so you can find your way back when everything feels overwhelming. But underneath all of this is something more intimate,
What's that?
something more fragile. The voice you speak to is also the voice you have hidden, the parts of you that were silenced by expectation, disappointment, or fear. The inner dialogue reveals the fractures, the pieces of you that learned how to survive without being seen.
Yeah.
So, when you speak to yourself, you are not just thinking, you are remembering, reassembling, negotiating with the pieces of your own existence.
Nice.
And when the inner world is divided,
Oh. You know how I was talking about the fact that, yo, for as long as you're a content creator and you know what I'm saying, you have the camera in front of your face, you know what I mean? Kind of like what I'm doing, like desktop type shit. Feel me? Like you're essentially talking to yourself, right? But yo, I'm now thinking about it in the context of like what he just, like how he just put it right now. You know what I mean? Like as in you're referring back to the self, you know. Yeah, whatever he said. Like this, the aspect of you that like planted the kind of seeds that like would, you know what I'm saying, would be important at this point in your journey. Cooking. You feel what I'm saying? It's like you're literally whatever initial seeds that you kind of, you know what I mean, planted along the way until the point that you're at right now. It's sort of like reference points, you know what I'm saying? Kind of like a reference point that you can refer back to. You know what I'm saying? The traumatic moments that happened, for example, the happy moments that happened, for example. You feel what I'm saying? That voice will always be able to articulate images of the past that either, you know what I'm saying? That's why that voice can either be the death or the life of you. Facts. That voice can either be the death or the life of you, bro. That's why I was like, yo, it's all in the content of the conversation, right? Of the self-internal conversation. It's the same thing as an external conversation. You know what I mean? Hey, just saying, bro.
when something inside you is unresolved, unspoken, or aching, the voice you speak aloud begins to reveal what you are most afraid to feel. Have you ever noticed how the voice you speak to when no one is around knows things you never say out loud? It knows the disappointments you dismissed, the apologies you never received, the grief you never allowed yourself to feel fully.
Man, at this point, isn't it that thing that people call the awareness? You know what I'm saying? Consciousness or whatever. Because now we're talking about like being aware of even past moments, like being aware of moments that you know, people who care about you the most or whatever like wouldn't be aware of. You feel what I'm saying? The slight moments when you got played, feel me? Those subtle moments where it just like somebody did you dirty but like had to cover it up so that it doesn't look shy. What is it?
It is a witness, one that has seen every version of you that the world never did.
So my point is like, it's more than just a voice then at that point. It's more than just a voice. It's a whole witness. Right?
There are nights when you find yourself speaking into the quiet, as if someone were sitting beside you. Not loudly, just a soft, tired confession.
Yep.
Words like, "I'm trying," or "I don't know what else to do," or even the silence between sentences, the kind that holds more truth than any language could translate. In those moments, you are not talking to the air.
What are you
You
doing?
are speaking to the part of yourself that has carried every hurt without complaint. Psychologists say unresolved emotions do not disappear. They sink. They settle.
Why?
They wait. Shame becomes a shadow that follows quietly behind you. Loneliness becomes a subtle ache in the ribs. Grief becomes a room in the house of your mind that you never fully enter. And when these feelings have no place to go, when there is no one safe enough to hear them,
What happens?
they look for the only presence that has always remained, you. So the voice becomes a confessor, a listener, a kind of invisible companion you return to because no one else has ever stayed as consistently. Sometimes it soothes you.
Right.
Sometimes it hurts you.
Yes.
Sometimes it reminds you of everything you've tried to forget.
Oh my God.
It becomes a mirror you didn't ask for, one that reflects not who you pretend to
Did I not say this voice can be the death of you or the life of you, man? There you go, ladies and gentlemen.
be, but who you are when
Thank
the
me
performance
later.
ends. And yes, there is pain in that. Because speaking to yourself can also mean admitting that there are parts of your life where you were alone when you shouldn't have been. Moments when you needed someone to say, "I see you," and no one did. So the voice in your chest took the place of love that never came, comfort that was never offered, presence that never arrived.
What else?
It became your replacement for intimacy. Talking to yourself is not strange, but it is private, because it carries the weight of everything you've held in silence. And the world does not know how to hold the kind of honesty that exists in those moments. Society hears self-talk and thinks of instability. It does not see the endurance, it does not see the courage, it does not see the child who learned to survive alone.
Facts.
But society rarely sees the truth with compassion. And it is here, in the misunderstanding in the space between stigma and reality, that the next layer of your story begins.
Let's
How
do it.
comfortable when someone is simply with themselves.
Why?
How silence is treated like a problem that needs to be fixed.
I wonder.
How solitude is mistaken for sadness.
Crazy.
We live in a society that fears the quiet mind. A culture that praises loudness, visibility, performance, the constant display of self for others to judge and approve. In such a world, speaking to yourself is seen not as intimacy with your inner life, but as something to be corrected, laughed at, or hidden.
That's
From a
crazy.
young age, you are taught that thinking should stay inside, and feeling should be managed discreetly. You learn to keep your voice internal, your questions unspoken,
Yep.
your doubts smoothed over with socially acceptable smiles. People
Politically correct speech that you know nothing of. You don't even know what the shit means.
don't fear your words, they fear the honesty behind them. Because talking to yourself is raw, unfiltered.
Let's do
It
it.
reveals an inner world that cannot be curated for others. And we live in a time where identity itself has become performance,
Nice.
where value is measured by how well you fit into the expectations of the crowd. Society calls self-talk strange because it reminds people of their own unspoken thoughts, the ones they spend their entire lives trying not to confront. So they label you to distance themselves from the discomfort. They call you lonely, as if companionship should always come from outside.
Why you say fuck me for? No.
They call you unstable, as if sanity is measured by silence.
Why?
They call you weak, as if speaking to yourself is anything but an act of endurance.
Yeah.
And yet, throughout history, some of the greatest minds spoke to themselves. Philosophers walking alone under ancient skies, speaking their questions. Into the night, poets whispering lines under their breath until meaning appeared. Scientists, artists, monks, warriors, people who understood that the deepest transformation happens in conversation with the self. The inward voice has always been sacred. It is only modern culture that has tried to turn it into something embarrassing.
That's crazy.
Because modern culture worships distraction, noise, constant engagement.
Yeah.
It tells you that if you are not speaking to others, posting yourself,
You're
proving
weirdo.
yourself, displaying yourself, then you do not exist.
That's crazy.
It tells you to replace introspection with consumption, emotion with entertainment, presence with performance, and in doing so, it disconnects you from the only relationship that lasts your entire life, the relationship with yourself.
Oh my God. Woo! That one was a truth and a half, right?
So you learn to hide the voice, to speak only when no one is around, to pretend you don't need to hear yourself.
Yeah.
But there is a cost to living with a voice no one else hears.
What's that?
A slow erosion of the part of you that remembers who you truly are beneath the image, beneath the performance, beneath the world's expectations.
Yeah.
And that cost reveals itself in the quietest place of all. The emotional toll you carry alone. Have you ever felt like your own mind has become both your refuge and your prison?
All the time.
Like the only place you can speak honestly is inside yourself.
All the time.
Yet that very place is also where your doubts echo the loudest.
Right.
The inner voice that once protected you can become the battlefield where your past and present collide.
I'm talking about it can become a demon, boy. What are we talking about?
There are moments when the voice is gentle,
Yep.
when it holds you the way no one ever did,
Yes.
when it reminds you to breathe, to soften your shoulders, to try again tomorrow. In these moments, the voice is a sanctuary, a quiet room inside your chest where the world cannot reach you. It becomes the proof that you have never truly loved.
No.
It replays every mistake like a film loop that refuses to fade.
Why?
It calls your name in a tone you learned from someone who once made you feel small. The inner voice becomes your shadow, the version of you built out of every wound you carried silently. Over time, this shapes you, not just emotionally, but relationally. When you learn to lean on your own voice for comfort, other people can begin to feel unnecessary, or worse, unsafe. You may hesitate to explain yourself because the voice already understands.
Seriously?
You may withdraw from others because the voice is easier to speak to. You may find yourself living behind walls made of your own thoughts, walls even you sometimes struggle to climb out of.
Yep.
Attachment theory tells us that intimacy is learned through being seen and soothed by another. But if you rarely received that, if the world taught you to rely only on yourself,
I'll be fine. Be alright.
then your voice becomes the stand-in for love, a memory of the connection you always wished for, a companion shaped from the absence of others. And in that sense, the voice is both miracle and wound proof of survival, and evidence of what you had to survive.
Don't say that.
This can affect your identity. You begin to question who you are outside the realm of your inner world. Your self-worth can become tangled in the voice's approval or criticism. You may fear vulnerability because letting someone else in means risking the one stability you have always known,
Serious?
the conversation within. And yet, this story does not end in tragedy, because the same voice that once carried your loneliness can also guide you back to yourself. If you learn not just to hear it, but to understand it. If you listen differently with compassion, instead of fear, the voice stops being the battleground and becomes the bridge. A bridge to healing. Have you noticed that the voice inside you changes depending on how you speak to it? The same inner companion that once reassured you can become harsh when spoken to with impatience. And the same voice that once frightened you can soften if approached gently. The goal has never been to silence this voice.
Right.
It has always been to understand it, to turn it from a reaction into a relationship. Healing begins when you stop treating the voice as a problem and start treating it as a message. The next time you hear yourself whisper something in the quiet pause,
What should I do?
listen, not with judgment, not with panic, but with curiosity.
Nice.
Ask yourself, who is speaking right now? The child who once felt alone? The adult who is tired of carrying everything? The heart that wants to be held but has never been shown how? The voice is not random. It is memory shaped into language. Psychologists refer to this as inner reparenting. learning to give yourself the emotional presence you needed when you were younger. When you say, "It's okay," to yourself, you are stepping into the role of the parent you wished you had. When you speak to yourself with patience instead of frustration, you are repairing the bond between your past and present self. You are becoming the one who stays.
The one.
You can begin to guide the voice instead of reacting to it.
Nice.
When fear rises and the voice trembles, speak softly, "I hear you." When doubt sharpens into criticism, respond with steadiness, "I am trying."
Nice.
When loneliness echoes through your thoughts, remind yourself, "I am here with you."
There we go.
This is not delusion. This is self-compassion, the emotional oxygen mask every human needs, but few are taught how to use. Journaling can help give the voice shape. Writing allows the intangible to become visible. When you place your thoughts on a page, the chaos becomes a landscape you can navigate. You no longer drown in the feeling, you can walk through it, map it, understand where it comes from.
You know, as a result, right, I feel like that's why the question arose that, yo, do y'all think they're talking about intuition when they be talking about this voice? Because, I literally, as a result of me actually, for lack of a better term, honoring this voice, man, following this voice, listening to it, taking it seriously, right? As a result of that, bro, I feel like intuitively, man, whatever that means, like I've become stronger, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like I can. Fuck. It's just that I'm not the kind of guy to just appear as, fake deep or deep spiritual, whatever. But like I feel like that inner tapped inness with myself, right? That integration with myself, even with things like the dark sides of me, right? Or the ignorant sides of me. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I could display all of those, right, where necessary, as the moment requires. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like moments will require you to at least be a master of either of any of your aspects, if you know what I'm talking about. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, a lot of people are the masters of their decent side, right? Their pleasant side, their pleasing side. But it's rare where you get a person that understands that they have to use their manipulative side sometimes. They have to use their conniving side. And I'm not saying, yo, I'm not instigating anything or like validating any, fucked up ideas in anybody's head, but it's like there's a reason why these kind of aspects to you exist. I'll go ahead and ignorantly just put that there, right? And so as a result, like I feel like that's part of the journey to understanding yourself. You know what I'm saying? Considering all aspects to you, right? Subconscious aspects, that is, and conscious aspects, that is, right? Right? Talking to human beings out here. No. But it's like, yo, it helped me like tap into myself. So, and the one thing that I'd say is that because of that, is why I never seen a shame in people talking to themselves like that. Again, there was this one experience, bro. I think I was a kid. I was like in middle school or whatever, and this one next door neighbor of mine, right? I was like outside my house. I think I was like singing out loud, right? Because I'm also into music and things like that, and just expressing myself to myself. Let me put it that way, right? I feel like that's the whole thing. It's expressing myself to myself. You know what I'm saying? By myself. You feel me? Hello. You feel me? That you could also put it that way. So this next door neighbor of mine, it was like the kid of that home, right? The child, the little daughter. She saw me do this. She saw me like express this, like verbalize this. It was a song to myself, right? And then the thing is, we were close, like my household, right? My mother, because that's who I was living with at that location, right, at the time. My mother was close with these people. She was close with these people. She knew them. She was familiar with them. And so, like, I would go and hang out with the brother. You know what I'm saying? Following? So the daughter caught me, like, reciting some song. But then, I'm close to the brother. So I would, like, go to the house, right? To go hang out with the brother. But then, as I'm making my way there, though, after that little incident of me being outside my home, doing that whole thing, like, I overheard her tell her family that, yo, man's is speaking alone, he's talking alone, he's doing hand signs alone. I'm like, yo. She made me look like an ass. She made me look like a butt cheek in front of her family. Like as in I'm insane, whatever, right? Lo and behold, man, you feel me? Like, this kind of thing, for as long as, you know, motherfucker can talk, like, yo, these days we make money off of that shit, right? You cut the camera on, you talk by yourself, man. You know you're talking to some other people on the other side of that camera, right? Or on the other side of that connection. And you make money out of that shit. Who knew? Who knew the crazies would get the W? Anyway, hold on, man, before I stretch this too long, alright? So, you know, personally, myself, I never, like, saw that as crazy. Yep.
The page becomes a mirror that does not judge, and slowly something shifts. The voice becomes less of a battleground and more of a dialogue. You stop running from yourself. You stop fearing your own inner world.
Nice.
The voice that once felt like a burden becomes a companion. Not perfect, not always calm, but honest. And honesty is where healing begins, because the voice inside you has never been your enemy. It has always been the part of you that refused to disappear, even when life tried to silence it.
Yeah.
And now, as we approach the end of this journey, there is one final truth to understand, the one that brings everything together.
What's that?
Have you ever realized that the voice inside you is older than your memories? It has lived through every silence you endured, every moment you swallowed your feelings to keep the peace, every time you walked away when you wanted to stay, or stayed when you desperately needed to leave. It is the voice that never left you, even when others did. This voice has witnessed the quiet heartbreaks, the ones that left no visible bruise but changed you forever. It remembers the first moment you felt misunderstood, the first time you pretended not to care, the first night you cried quietly so no one would hear, the first time you realized that the world does not always offer gentleness, even to those who give it, and through all of it, it stayed, it spoke, it kept you company in the places no one else could enter. The voice inside you is not a flaw. It is a testament, a living archive, a memory woven into sound. When you speak to yourself today, you are not merely thinking, you are tending to the child you once were.
You're building worlds and you're shifting universes into, you know what I'm saying, something that, like, literally is super deep, that nobody can, like, explain this shit like that. You feel me? Hold on, man. I want to, you know, head on and get to the quick word from our sponsors. Let's do it.